So, CZ, I'm sure you're disappointed. You've been working on this for a while. What's Plan B?
So actually, we're not that disappointed. This is the original plan. So we just invested in a local regulated exchange called HG. We usually call it HGX. So this is then we'll have two duplicate things in the run for a small market. So Singapore is a very advanced market and is very pro crypto. We just didn't think we need both applications there, and it's kind of heavy. So we invested in HGX, and we're gonna use that as our hopefully in the future as our Singapore service. So yeah, so it's not a huge surprise. I think many of the people are misunderstanding the situation. They see a withdrawal from Binance, they get all worried. We're not leaving Singapore. We're still very much invested in Singapore. And Singapore is still one of the leading countries in the world for crypto and blockchain.
All right, so you told me something similar when you were winding down the Binance UK, and now you've said to the Sunday Telegraph that you're building your UK arm up again. What are your plans in Great Britain?
So for UK, yeah, so we are in the process of reapplying for the license there. UK, we tried a few different things, and then we are in the process of applying for the applications again. So yeah, so UK, everything's on track. So yeah, things sometimes go through some what you call volatilities or changes in plans, but yeah, we're proceeding full speed ahead with UK. We also have a large UK team now. Well, not large, but we have a UK team based in UK. We're renting an office there. We're establishing a physical presence, all the usual requirements that's required for getting a license.
CZ, good morning. It's Anna actually in London, and I wanted to ask you more about that and your plans in London. What is it that's more difficult to comply with when it comes to UK regulations? Is this around money laundering regulations? Is that why this takes some time?
So to be honest, the KYC AML is the really easy part for compliance. Those things are done out of the wazoo in the banking industry. In the crypto industry, we actually do more, or at least on par with the banks. So that's a very established process. That's quite not that difficult to follow. In the crypto world, we also use what we call on-chain analysis. So we look at blockchain analytics to determine which transactions come from where, and they're very fairly mature third-party tools that's being used for that. So that part is actually the easy part. Many of the regulations today only focus on centralized exchanges. So they don't look at DeFi, they don't look at NFTs, they don't look at many other things. So we are often talking with regulators, say, hey, how do we regulate these other parts? So we're really wanting to help regulators to have a broader view of the crypto industry. Crypto industry is not just centralized exchanges, not just KYC AML. Even in the centralized space, we have to think about things like listing framework. How do exchanges choose which coin to list? What's the criteria there? How do we handle customer disputes? In what situations do we compensate users or not? So there's a lot of this kind of things that current regulations don't look at, and we actually want to educate regulators to look at more broader scope.
Okay, so it's not all about know your customer, it's not all about anti-money laundering, it's about the other things that you've pointed out there, and the way that regulation rubs up against this still fairly new, for regulators at least, asset class. Where do you see regulators getting this right from the Binance perspective, from the CZ perspective? Where are the regulators in, where do they have a good handle on how to tackle crypto?
So yeah, that's a pretty that's a very subjective opinion. But I think the regulators that are willing to talk with industry players typically will learn more, because right now, to be honest, this industry is so new that most regulators do not come from the industry, do not come from the crypto industry, unlike the banking world where you have seasoned banking officials going to the regulatory realm. So I think in places where the regulators are more open to talking with us and also other crypto industry players, it's a mutual learning and mutual helping perspective. So we need to work together very closely to build this industry, to build a healthy industry.
A healthy industry that some say, I mean, our own Bloomberg intelligence analysts saying the US is getting left behind here because of the lack of spot ETFs, for example, the fact that regulation perhaps is more tough versus other areas. Do you agree with that? Is the US investor behind the curve related to others because they can't access certain products?
To be very honest, different countries have different ways of regulating. There's not one country more advanced than the other. They're just more advanced in different areas. So I can give you a couple examples. U.S. is actually very advanced when it comes to banking support for cryptocurrency exchanges. The ACH integration in the U.S. allow cryptocurrency exchanges to deduct money from users' bank accounts automatically every month. In other parts of the world, this is usually not possible. So U.S. is very advanced on that. And U.S. also have the most innovations in DeFi. I believe more than 50% of the DeFi projects are based out of the U.S. U.S. is more strict on futures, ETFs, and other products, interest-generating products like yields or staking or earning, however you call it. So U.S. is more limited on the product scope that an exchange can offer. But within the pure spot crypto exchange space, the banking integration is very strong. So different jurisdictions are a little bit different. Yeah.
CZ, Elon Musk said the sign-up process for Bitcoin was a little bit too complex for him. He said he had to jump through too many hoops to trade on Binance. How do you respond to that? Do you change your UX?
So I think the part of the U.S. that he's complaining about is actually because we added such strict compliance for KYC, AML, and also he's a U.S. citizen. So number one, I want to thank the fact that he actually tried to register on Binance.com. I think that action or intention itself is very respectable, and I really thank him for that and for him to making that public. We can't onboard, Binance.com cannot onboard U.S. users anyway, so he will fail at some stage. So I apologize for that experience, and I've since did redirect him, suggesting to consider using Binance US. And it's a smaller product set, as I mentioned, because of the regulations there. And yeah, hopefully he enjoys that. We'll see what happens.